What's up, Bulls fans? Thanks for tuning in for today's episode of BullsvilleTV. I'm your host, Don Ellis. Some very sad news, a tragic way to start today's show. We're all aware of the problems Taj Gibson has had. His little cousin, 6-year-old PJ Avito, was stabbed and killed on June 1st. You remember back in the summer of 2010, he lost 3 friends within 6 weeks. Tremaine Patterson and Charles Wynn were both murdered. Johnny Smith, he went missing. And now I just found out a couple of hours ago, right before I started doing the show, apparently Taj has had another tragedy affect his life. James Williams, who grew up in Brooklyn, played his college basketball at Eastern Oklahoma State, passed away late Thursday evening. Taj posted on his Facebook page a picture of James and left a little message for him. I'm going to go ahead and read that for you. Rest in peace to my good friend Sticks Williams. New York City street ball won't be the same without you. Brooklyn won't be the same without you. Sad you left us doing something you loved called street ball. Back to the news, the Kevin Love trade talks, they are heating back up. It started right around the draft. Of course, the Bulls were heavily involved, tried to make a deal for Love. Couldn't get anything done. The Warriors were a big name out there. Love is from California. Said he would re-sign with the Warriors. They didn't want to give up Klay Thompson. You can't really blame them for that. So those talks kind of went nowhere. And then, of course, the big decision, LeBron James heading back to Northeast Ohio. So now all of a sudden, hey, Kevin Love says Cleveland doesn't look so bad after all. I could play in Cleveland, maybe even sign an extension. If you can play with LeBron, who can blame him? The problem here is how much are the Cavs willing to give up? They're willing to give up Anthony Bennett, last year's #1 pick. Andrew Wiggins, this year's #1 pick, seems to be on the table as well. Draft picks might be involved. The Timberwolves, though, want to move Kevin Martin in the deal. They can't do that without maybe getting a third team involved. But now you don't have to worry about it for a month. Yeah, that's right. Andrew Wiggins signed his rookie contract today. So now he can't be traded for 30 days. Now they can still talk, maybe try to work things out, but nothing can be official for 30 days. And, of course, in the last couple of days, the Bulls have moved back into the discussion. Now, allegedly, if you want to believe what you read in the Sun-Times, which I don't, Joe Cowley reporting that the Bulls offered Mirotic, McDermott, and Gibson for Love. And, folks, I just refuse to believe that. They, first of all, spent all this money on Nikola Mirotic, getting him to come over. And as I reported to you a week or two ago, they made him a pretty strong promise when he was negotiating his buyout that they weren't going to trade him. He only entered the draft because he wanted to play for the Bulls. So I don't see that one happening. Now, Taj Gibson and Jimmy Butler, a deal built around that might happen. I just don't see it happening, folks. I honestly think this is all coming from the Timberwolves camp. They're trying to drive up the price for Love. They want more than Wiggins and from Cleveland. So we'll see what happens. They've got a month at least now to talk about it, because even if the Bulls were willing to make that deal, McDermott couldn't be dealt for a month either, because he just signed his rookie contract, which that's what we're going to get into next here. We'll forget about Kevin Love for a little while. The Bulls have signed several players since our last episode of Bullsville TV. Let's talk about that, talk about the contracts they signed. We'll start with Nikola Mirotic, who got the most lucrative first-year salary of any rookie in NBA history once you factor in the $600,000 the Bulls gave him towards his buyout with Real Madrid. Now, they had already negotiated. He was going to get the mid-level exception of $5.305 million. Now, which is a question of, would the Bulls have cap space, or could they work a sign and trade with Boozer to stay over the cap and use the exception? Of course, as it turned out, they paid him cap space, so they got $5.3 million there, $600,000 for the bonus. That's $5.9 million he's getting his first year. The first overall pick this year, Andrew Wiggins, only got roughly $5.5 million. Besides that, Nico also got a 15% trade bonus, which is unheard of in a rookie contract. If you sign way below the rookie scale, you can sign for 80%. You might be able to get a trade kicker in there. Most rookies sign for the 120% of the rookie scale, so they can't even include a trade bonus. He's also got almost $2.4 million in incentives written into his contract. So as you can see, the Bulls really wanted this guy. They waited 3 years for him. He's not going anywhere, folks. He's a big part of the future here in Chicago. Next up, Pau Gasol, the big free agent signing of the summer for the Bulls, signed his contract as well. They announced him and Mirotic the exact same day, actually. He's making a pretty decent penny as well, $22.3 million over 3 years. Now, the third year is a player option on that. He's got a 15% trade bonus in there as well. And this year, his first year salary is going to be $7.148 million. So now Gasol may be 34. Actually, he'll be 34 before the season starts, but he can still play ball. He's been really misused the last 2 years under Mike D'Antoni, who doesn't believe in using a post-up center. Gasol can still score down low. He's going to be a big help for the Bulls on offense this season especially, and he can still play a little defense as well. Now, I mentioned that Gasol and Mirotic both were announced the same day. I've got a little bit of audio from each of them for the press conference. Mirotic was asked what he's going to do with the rest of the summer now that he's signed, and they asked Gasol about his minutes, if he thinks he can still play big minutes or how they're going to work that. Let's just go ahead and check that out.
Right now, I will back tomorrow to Madrid. My family was there. I will take my family. I'm going to go to Montenegro. All the summer, I practice there with my personal coach. After that, I want to back to Chicago, maybe in August, depending what your coach wants, to practice, to prepare myself. And I know that I need to be here early. Yeah, I want that. I know that I have a lot of things to prepare, and I want to be early and to bring my family to meet the new players, teammates, meet the city. So I want to be here early. Well, I think we'll see. I'm definitely at a point in my career where, we have to manage a little bit, maybe the minutes, but that's something that we've talked and we'll talk more with Tom, but we also see how everything kind of goes. We have to adjust. You can't really predetermine too much, but we can have an idea, and, you just got to be able to take care of my body better. Got to pay more attention to details, and work with the training staff to make sure that I prevent and I prepare my body to sustain whatever is necessary out there. But just fight through stuff. It is what it is at this point, and that's just what professional sport is about as well.
Rookie Doug McDermott signed for the rookie scale. Now, he got the 120% of the scale, so assuming the Bulls pick up his option years for 3 and 4, 4 years, $10.4 million be the total of his contract. He's going to get just a little under $2.3 million this year. Pretty good for a guy just out of college, I'd say. Kirk Hinrich, of course, re-signed. They didn't use the bird rights on him. They had to renounce him to create the cap space. So he re-signed with what's called the room mid-level exception. That's what they give to teams that create cap space, just a little extra. It's $2.732 million for the first year. So he signed for 2 years, $5.6 million. Now, the way the CBA is written up, because the Bulls have his bird rights, and he's playing on a 1-year contract, because the second year is a player option, he technically has a no-trade clause. Now, of course, the Bulls aren't going to trade him anywhere. They love him. The fans hate him, but that's okay. They don't understand that all the analytics say the team's better when he plays. But he has a no-trade clause, a 15% trade bonus in there as well. Now, they had to give him this much money. Apparently, Utah was willing to offer him more money to come out and tutor Dante Exum, but the Bulls decided to keep him instead. A good move on their part, I think. And apparently, the Bulls are really high on their second-round pick, Cameron Bairstow out of New Mexico. His first year is fully guaranteed. They wound up giving him 3 years, just over $2.33 million total. Very good for a second-round pick that was taken 49th overall. Now, like I said, the first year is fully guaranteed. The second year, $425,000 of that's guaranteed. So almost $1 million, about $930,000 guaranteed for a late second round pick. That is a very good deal. They must really, really think a lot of this kid. And again, they signed him with cap space so they could give him the 3-year deal. Then they have, of course, the qualifying option on the 4th year. Looks like this kid's going to be around for a while. If you're going to pay that kind of money, you're not going to just cut him. And then finally, Aaron Brooks. I'm really surprised the Bulls got him this early in free agency for the minimum salary. Now they're going to pay him $1.14 million this year. Now, of course, as a veteran who's been in the league more than 2 years, they only actually pay out of pocket $915,000. The league picks up the other $230,000. So they got a little bargain, money-wise, but they really got a bargain as a player. I can't believe this guy was available. He's only 4 years removed from averaging 20 points a game for the Rockets. He can shoot. He can score. If they need him, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not just riding the bench as a third-string point guard, but he's actually getting minutes with maybe Hinrich playing some 2 or Hinrich resting, because this guy can really play ball. Again, I'm really surprised the Bulls got him this early in free agency. This was an outstanding signing. Well, that's all I have for today. Be sure to check me out on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter at Bullsville. If you have any questions, you can send me a message. You can email don@bullsville.net. We'll see you folks again real soon. Thanks for watching Bullsville TV. I'm Don Ellis, and I'm out of here.